following show is controversial and contains content you may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. 98FM's Dublin Talks. Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
Well, good morning. What a miserable hell day that is. Seriously, you wouldn't put a duck out in that. Good morning, this is Adrian Kennedy. Between now and midday today, this is 98FM's Dublin Talks, the mid-morning talk and phone-in show for Dublin, by Dublin and about Dublin. If you want to get in contact with us, it's very simple. You send us a text or WhatsApp message to 087 98 98 98. You can use that same number to send a WhatsApp voice note as well, 0877 98 98 98. But better still, call us on 016797981. So what have we got coming up on today's show? In a moment we cross live to Dublin Airport, where Katie Taylor is due to receive a hero's welcome. Also talking to a Bray councillor who wants a statue erected in her honour. I'll be talking to Councillor Joe Bean in just a second in the airport. In 20 minutes, Noah is transgender and was subjected to horrific homophobic abuse on Capel Street over the weekend. Took to social media about this. We hear the story and find out how common these incidents are. Also, a little bit later on, I was thinking about this myself, and I don't have any, but every other member of staff here on the programme was able to relate to this. Childhood injuries. We'll be asking you to remember back to when you were a kid and asking what was the worst injury you ever had as a child. I've been very lucky, actually. I've never broken a leg, never broken an arm. I've actually been extremely lucky. Anyhow, we'll deal with that and much more besides between now and midday today. And live from Dublin City Centre, this is 98FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy. Hope you had a good bank holiday weekend. I have to say, my first time visiting Bloom over the weekend. Myself and herself went there on Sunday. Very enjoyable day out. Can't believe the amount of people that were there, and we were lucky with the weather as well. So thoroughly enjoyed that. Now, first off on the programme, let's go live to Dublin Airport, and Ireland's boxing hero, Katie Taylor, is to be given a massive welcome home this morning, returning from the United States as the undisputed champion of the world. And I want to find out about plans to perhaps erect a statue in her honour. And I'm joined on the line from Dublin Airport by independent councillor for Wicklow County Council, Councillor Joe Bean. Joe, welcome to 98FM in Dublin Airport. What is the atmosphere like?
Well, it's building. There's a lot of media people here already, and I think a lot of people will be here for her arrival. So there's great excitement, obviously, in Bray and in County Wicklow, and I think throughout the country as well, that yet another successful occasion for Katie.
Now, she has been, over the years, hailed as a hero in her hometown of Bray. And in fact, I heard somebody pick up a reporter over the weekend to say she's not from Dublin, she's actually from County Wicklow, from Bray. And
that's good. That's good. I'm glad to hear that.
And the people of Bray really have taken Katie to their hearts. Is there anything specific planned in Bray over the next day or two?
No, we're in an interregnum at the moment between councils. As you probably know, we had a local election last week, and our first council meeting is on Friday. But a great suggestion has been made by a couple of people actually from Bray that we should erect a statue in her honour at some point in time in Bray, obviously with her agreement and her consent. And I'm going to propose that now at our first meeting of the new County Council on Friday, because I think it would be great to have a permanent memorial, I suppose, a permanent reminder of her fantastic success, not only as an athlete but as a role model for so many young people in the town, in the county, in the country, and indeed in the world.
Now, you yourself were actually a school teacher in the school that Katie went to, and you've obviously watched her progression over the years.
I have indeed, and we were always very conscious from an early age how talented she was, whether it was athletics, table tennis, hurling, Gaelic football, soccer, basketball, it didn't matter. She was excellent, but she was always so quiet and shy and modest. And one of my colleagues, who's now the principal of the school in St. Fergus, Tom Sargent, actually taught her when she was very young, as I think second class, first class, second class, and then subsequently at sixth. And I mean, he did a lot to bring her on in terms of sports in the school, and he always maintained she was going to go places in terms of sports and sporting achievements. And I'm delighted that he actually was present in London in 2012 when she won the gold medal. And he was certainly, it was a highlight of his life as well, having taught her in the past. And subsequently, she came back to the school with the Olympic gold medal, and we had a fantastic day of celebration with her on that occasion. And she gave us so much time to the younger children, you know, people that are now pupils of the school, and we had a fantastic day. But that's just the kind of person Katie is. She's humble, she's dedicated, and she's a fabulous role model for everybody to follow.
Now, you said yourself she is quiet, shy and modest. How do you think she would take this suggestion of a statue in Bray in her honour?
That's a very good question, Adrian, and I'm not sure how she'd take it. So obviously that's something that I would want to be fairly happy about, that she was okay with the idea before we will proceed with it. I hope she will see that it's really an effort for us, from our point of view, to honour her achievements. But as you say, she is a very modest and shy person, and obviously we'd have to do a little bit of talking to her before anything would be finally decided. But I think generally people would be very much in favour of the idea if she favours it as well.
All right. Where would you like to see it if it does happen?
I'd like to see it somewhere very prominent in the main street in Bray, but that wouldn't be really my call. You know, that's a detail we could look at later, but obviously somewhere where people will see it and it will be in a position that of prominence in the town, because she is, if not certainly one of the most prominent citizens we have ever had in Bray.
All right. We wait with interest to see whether or not she will be open to the idea of a statue in her honour. But Councillor Joe Behan, thanks very much indeed for talking to us on 98 FM.
Thank you, Adrian.
And I'd love to hear from you actually on 6797 981. You can also text or WhatsApp your opinion to 0877 98 98 98. And my question to you is, how do you feel about the idea of a statue in honour of Katie Taylor being erected in, probably in Bray? That is her hometown. Text or WhatsApp your opinion to us to 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. Now let's go to another part of Dublin Airport, and 98 FM reporter Casey O'Riordan is in Dublin Airport. Well, Casey, she's been a little bit delayed, is that right?
Yeah, well, seemingly her flight was due to land at about 10 to, and I understand the Sports Minister, Shane Ross, is meeting her off the plane. So, you know, it'll take a little time to kind of get bags and get through the gate. We're expecting her to walk through the doors at 10:30, and what a sight that will greet her. There are so many people here, and so many kids here, so many young girls here that just idolise her.
Okay, so the crowds that were promised have arrived in the airport.
Yeah, absolutely. And like as I said, so many young girls. I can't get over the amount that are in, you know, her merchandise and are waving flags, and are just some that have skipped school, some that have come. I was talking to two girls who got on a bus at 1:30 this morning from Limerick to come, as they've been here since 5:30, and they don't even box themselves. They're just mega fans. Their whole goal is to just get Katie to stop and take a picture with them. Definitely would be trying to point them out to her if, you know, I get a chance. And then there's girls here that do box and idolise it. There's a girl here that's wearing a lovely jacket that's signed by Katie, that was given to her by Katie's mum. She's come to every homecoming. It's just, the atmosphere is electric. It's something really exciting here today. And
a very fitting arrival for her. And I know she's terribly shy, as we were talking about just a couple of minutes ago. I'd say she may even cringe at the idea of suggestion of a statue out in Bray for her. But a very fitting return for her.
Yeah, and you know, I've asked a lot of people I've been chatting to here about the idea of the statue, and absolutely nobody is against it. Everyone thinks it's an amazing idea. One woman told me she thinks there should be 3, one in Bray, one in town, one in the airport. So big support for a statue of Katie Taylor, definitely in her hometown. One girl even said she'd build it herself if she could.
All right, yeah, I heard that. All right, well, we look forward to her arriving through the gates, and maybe touching base with you a little bit later on, Casey, when she actually comes out, and find out what she has to say. 98 FM reporter Casey O'Riordan is live at Dublin Airport. And in fact, just on, you know, the sort of tribute that's been offered to Katie Taylor, and well deserved, it has to be said. I mean, let's not forget that this lady is now the undisputed champion of the world. Doesn't happen very often here in Ireland for anybody in any sport to be the undisputed champion of the world. Just listen to those words. It's an amazing achievement. And Len, you sent us in a message just a couple of minutes ago, a little bit annoyed about the way in which Katie's homecoming is being dealt with.
Yeah, I think there's just been it's culture double standards. We've fallen at the feet of sporting heroes in the past. We've honoured our soccer team with civic perceptions. Conor McGregor, who fantastic achievements but questionable behaviour outside the ring as an ambassador for sports. Sonia O'Sullivan, Stephen Roach, and here's Katie gets Simon Coveney, might meet her in the airport in a wet morning. The nation should be honouring her with a full reception, freedom in the city, open top bus. It's an absolute disgrace. She's had to fight her way single-handedly, pretty much with zero resources from the start. Has achieved everything at every level several times over, and it's just a drop in the pond today coming home. It's a disgrace.
All right, now, she is notoriously shy and reserved and everything else and modest and all of that, and we all know that from looking at her, even her being interviewed, and I know people who've spoken to her, and I've spoken to her myself, and she's terribly, terribly shy. She mightn't like that.
That's understandable, but at least the Taoiseach could go and meet her. He's quick enough to write to the Spice Girls or Kylie Minogue. He sends somebody second in command to go and meet her, who, no disrespect to Simon Coveney, he's notorious for getting facts and figures wrong when it comes to sporting heroes. Whether she...
No, I think that's Shane Ross you're talking about.
I beg your pardon, sorry, dear pardon, I stand corrected. But even at that, I mean, surely to God, the head of the nation could go and recognise one of our biggest achievements on the day that's in question.
All right, so you think it's a little bit disappointing. What do you think of what do you think of that suggestion from that Bray councillor for a statue in her honour in her hometown of Bray?
Absolutely. I mean, we've statues to fill in it, and we're heroes around the country. It goes without reason that she should be recognised for what she's done. You know, absolutely. I just think we're not going far enough for the girl.
Okay, well, let's see what happens over the next couple of days. But I know that, ministers and councillors and so on have reached out to her people to see what she would be comfortable with. Now, obviously, she doesn't have much choice but to deal with the big crowd in the airport right now for her arrival, and I'm sure it'll be wonderful for her. But with the sort of lady that she is and the sort of shyness and whatever that she lives with, it might be very difficult for her to accept an open-top bus and whatever.
I take your point, but I think there still should be some kind of middle ground and more of an effort from the powers that be for them to acknowledge something rather than just sending somebody as a piecemeal.
Okay, what would you say to this text that I've just gotten from Paul in Beaumont? And he says, putting up a statue to Katie Taylor is a dreadful idea. No disrespect to her, but we can't just keep putting up statues every time someone wins something. Imagine how many statues we would have of Bono for a start, or even Ronan Keating. No way, says Paul in Beaumont. What do you say to that?
You kind of have to put it in context a bit. It's not just an issue of any time somebody wins something. It's the level to which she's achieved. From the amateur level right across her career to the professional level, she fought at weight divisions she had to fight out of her weight division for early days. She's achieved world status on several occasions. Now,
sorry, I'm losing you there, Len. Sorry about that. Anyway, he thinks it's disgraceful that more has not been done in Katie's honour with her arriving home into Dublin Airport. Now, like I said, big crowd in the airport. She's due to walk through the gates at about 10:30 or thereabouts. Now, Brandon is in Ballybrack. You're on 98FM, Brandon. How are you?
Hi, how's it going?
Good, thank you. You think the idea of a statue in Bray is a great idea?
Yeah, I do actually. I think for a young girl like Katie Taylor, she's done a lot for the Irish sport, and I think she deserves a lot of what she's getting. I don't think she really gets enough recognition.
Now, I have to say, and because somebody said this in the office earlier on, that there wasn't much coverage of her win over the weekend. I would disagree. Yeah. I think there was an awful lot of coverage. I think it was absolutely everywhere. Anywhere I looked, I saw coverage of her win on Saturday night, Sunday morning.
I didn't even really hear anything about it afterwards or even before. There wasn't as much hype as there has been about her before. So I'm thinking people are kind of starting to get bored, but she's still doing what she's doing. She's showing everyone she can still do it.
Okay, so you think the whole idea of a A statue in her honour in Bray is a great idea.
Yeah, I think that would be good for her. I think that would be her country and her hometown showing her that the support that everyone has for her.
All right, good to talk to you, Brandon. Thanks very much indeed. 6797 981 is our telephone number. You can text or WhatsApp the programme on 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. I see, let me just have a look at this. This is the Irish Daily Mirror actually is broadcasting live on Facebook from Dublin Airport, as you can clearly hear. And my God, there really is a great crowd in the airport right this very second, awaiting Katie's return. So this is audio from the Irish Daily Mirror that is broadcasting on Facebook Live from Dublin Airport, if you want to have a look at it. But they are in Terminal 2, standing outside the arrival gates where many of you will have waited for friends and relatives coming home from far-flung corners of the world. And interesting just to read some of the comments that people are making. Most are congratulating Katie on her achievement. Well done, Katie, says Brenda. There's a lot of people actually watching this video. It is live from Dublin Airport. So I'm going to keep an eye on that for the next couple of minutes. And if and when she arrives, we will have a listen in on the Facebook Live from the Irish Daily Mirror. Now, Kevin, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Kevin?
I'm good, Adrian. How are you?
Okay, the idea of a statue, I mean, it all sounds wonderful. You don't think Katie, being the sort of lady that she is, would be really into that?
I don't think so. It's like some people, like she's not a Conor, she's a polar opposite of Conor McGregor.
Yes, you couldn't be more. She couldn't be further from the. Yeah,
she's a lady, right? Right. So I think it's like. Do you ever see a picture of yourself and everybody loves it, but you hate it? Can you imagine walking?
Yes.
And I think that's like she's humble. Like she can fight. She can stand in front of in a ring in front of thousands of people and fight for her life, fight for her career. Not a problem to her. But when it comes to the day-to-day things, I think it's a bit cringy for her. I couldn't imagine having to stay. But I'd say if it was tasteful and something she decided to do, and to promote Bray and promote the success she's achieved. Yeah, if she's happy with it, so be it. But I wouldn't like her to be forced into it. I don't think it'd be fair.
No, and in fact, listening to Joe Bain there a while ago, the Bray councillor, he was saying, look, we have to talk to her. We have to.
Exactly.
We're obviously not going to. They're not going to put up a statue without her consent. And I like I said, I don't know if she is the sort of person that would like it. You could be right, but it's a nice thing of them to at least consider and offer.
But they could look if they don't have to put a statue, a plaque. Doesn't have to be a statue. You can make a plaque. So. There's a yin and yang for that. Like it doesn't have. There's so many statues, as the other caller said. Yeah, there are. And if she's not happy, like we all have memorial plaques, not memorial. Sorry, you know what I mean? A plaque of achievements, sort of thing.
Okay,
and it won't have the same striking effect, but it's still something.
You believe that her achievements should be recognised if she is into it?
Yeah, and it's like it's her decision at the end of the day. You can't just. But I don't think she'd have a problem with a plaque.
All right, very good. A statue may be a step too far for Katie.
Yep.
All right, let me read out this message. Katie Taylor is only the 7th boxer in history to achieve this feat. Not the 7th woman, but the 7th boxer to be the undisputed champion of the world. So only the 7th boxer in history. I didn't realise that. As I said, she hasn't arrived out of the gates at Dublin Airport. She was due to come out to the crowd, the waiting crowd, at about 10 o'clock, but has been a little bit delayed. I hope she's not delayed at passport control, which, by the way, was a disgrace yesterday. Anybody who went through the airport earlier on yesterday will tell you the queues at the airport were disgraceful. And in fact, they installed new automatic gates. I'm not sure if they're working again, but a couple of weeks ago when I was going through, they weren't working. which is ridiculous. But anyway, hopefully she's not stuck at immigration trying to get through. But anyway, this is the scene from Dublin Airport. This is the crowd outside the gate in Terminal 2. And as you can hear, it's a big crowd. Not much happening yet. Well, there's still a big crowd waving Irish flags. Just actually a couple of comments on that Facebook page. This should be happening in Smithfield tonight, where everyone can be there and pay their respects to an absolute legend. And by the way, this audio is coming to us from Facebook, from the Irish Daily Mirror's Facebook page. They're broadcasting on Facebook Live from Dublin Airport. And as soon as we hear any noise of Katie Taylor coming through, we'll let you have a listen to it. But as I said, outside the arrival gate, where many of you will have waited for people coming home, in Terminal 2 at Dublin Airport, there is a huge crowd of photographers and supporters waiting for Katie to arrive through those doors, and we will, if she does come out, we will bring that to you very soon. Now, Kathy's in Donnycarney. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, Jeremy. How are you?
Well, I'm Adrian, but that's okay.
Adrian, hi.
How are you, Kathy? Kathy, what did you want to say?
I just wanted to say that it's shameful that Leo Varadkar is not in the airport. It's shameful that Shane Ross wasn't on the television prior to Saturday wishing Katie luck. She is the greatest Irish athlete to, on our island. She's a great role model. We had an open-top bus for Jack Charlton and the Irish team, and they've never brought a trophy home.
No, they never won a thing.
To our island. She's never been in trouble. She's never been in the media negatively. I just genuinely think it's a disgrace. I think people that were on earlier talking about a statue, I think that's minimal for what we should do for her. And I think we should be in Smithfield tonight. I know it's a miserable day, but we should be in Smithfield tonight honouring Katie Taylor. We've never gotten on the radio talking about anyone else's personalities. If she's shy, would she want it? We just do it, but we've just never done it for the way we...
Well, no, that's not fair. There was a huge reception for her on Bray Seafront after her Olympic achievements. There was a huge celebration.
Why wasn't it in Smithfield? Why wasn't it in Dublin?
Well, because she's from Bray. Because she's from Bray.
I absolutely understand that, but that should have been secondary to what was done for her in Dublin City. You know, fair play to the people in Bray, because the people in Bray have always highlighted Katie, and rightly so. But we've never given her the homecoming she absolutely deserves. I mean, she's the most accolade athlete of our time. Who else has achieved half of what she's done? And if it was McGregor, he'd be splashed all over the news. It'd be on every news station. I mean, in fairness to 98 FM, I will hand it to you. You were the only media source that were constantly mentioning Katie all the way up to the fight. I had to hand it.
I will take that, because we did give extensive coverage over the weekend to Katie's match. Yep.
Absolutely. But I just think our Taoiseach should be there, and I do think we need to, as the people of Ireland, have an event to honour one of our greatest athletes of our time, and that's what she is.
All right, good to talk to you, Kathy. Thanks very much indeed. And lots of you getting in touch with us. And as I said, at Dublin Airport right now, there is huge anticipation of Katie's arrival through those gates at Terminal 2 in Dublin Airport. And like I said, a lot of people just heaping praise upon her for her achievement, being the undisputed champion of the world. And here is Katie Taylor arriving out to all of the fans in Terminal 2 at Dublin Airport right now. And she is displaying her belts. And the Minister for Transport, Shane Ross, standing beside her. He came out of the gates with her. So he is there, for those of you criticising Shane Ross. He is there beside her. So once again, if you've just joined us, Katie Taylor has just arrived out of the arrival gates at Terminal 2 in Dublin Airport to a huge crowd, an absolutely huge crowd standing there at the arrival gates at Terminal 2. And being Katie, she's not in your face. She's kind of shyly standing there, displaying her belts, the undisputed champion of the world. And now she's going over and talking to some of the kids that are standing there and posing for selfies. But it looks like a fantastic atmosphere. And she is displaying all of her belts from her achievements over the last couple of years, especially on Saturday night when she became the undisputed champion of the world. And she's now being surrounded by kids, by photographers, and looks terribly relaxed in talking to the kids. She seems to have gravitated towards the kids in the audience at Terminal 2 at Dublin Airport, and she has all of her belts on display. And there is the Minister for Transport, Shane Ross. So this is happening right now live from Dublin Airport. Katie Taylor has just arrived out to a throng of supporters. Once again, if you've just joined us, you're listening to 98FM and live from Dublin Airport. Katie Taylor has just arrived to a huge crowd of waiting supporters alongside the Minister for Transport, Shane Ross. So he was there. Let us go back live to Dublin Airport and 98FM's Casey is there. Casey, we're watching this on Facebook Live. Great atmosphere for Katie's arrival.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. She literally just walked the doors there 2 seconds ago to cheers and chants of her name, and she just walked through. Everyone has the biggest smiles on their face. I've actually lost sight of her. There's that many people swarmed around her. She's stopping to take pictures and to sign some autographs. Really a great reception here for Katie.
And I love to see, I know you may not be able to see because she's gotten down on her knees and gotten photographs with kids and everything else that are there in the airport, and she's literally being thronged. I'm not surprised you can't see her from where you are.
I literally can't. I think you just said you're probably right. She's down, there's so many kids here, so she's down kind of on her hunkers taking pictures, and I am just now officially blocked out of the circle. I'm just kind of watching the craziness just from a few yards back.
Is it likely that she'll talk to the waiting media?
I'm not sure. We haven't kind of heard. She's not much of a talker, but hopefully she might give us a quick comment just about how she feels. And, you never know. We'll have to wait and see. I'll be hanging around anyway to see if I can get a quick word.
All right, Casey O'Riordan, live in Dublin Airport. Thanks very much indeed. And once again, these are the scenes at Dublin Airport. Katie Taylor with the Minister for Transport star, the Minister for Transport and Sport standing right beside her. Shane Ross is there, although the Taoiseach isn't there that I can see. Anyway, brilliant. Well done, Katie. We'll keep an eye on that. We might have more of that straight after the break.
98FM's
Dublin Talks
with Des Kelly Interiors. For all the latest trends in carpets, vinyls and wood flooring. Des Kelly Interiors, where quality flooring costs less. 98FM.
And this is Adrian Kennedy with you until midday today. Our telephone number is 6797981. Homophobia is clearly still an issue in this country. In a country that just a couple of years back voted in favour of equal marriage rights, we still have a problem with homophobia. But if you are LGBT, how often do you experience it, if at all? Are we still at the stage where gay people and transgender people can't walk the streets of Dublin without being harassed and abused? I'd love to hear from you on 6797 981. You can text or WhatsApp us on 0877 98 98 98. The reason I mention this is Noah is the founder of This Is Me Ireland, a campaign to improve transgender healthcare in Ireland. And Noah took to social media over the weekend on Sunday evening at around 6 o'clock to highlight an incident that happened to him after he tried to intervene in an incident where two people were throwing a glass at a fox. Let's find out a little bit more about this story. And Noah joins me on the line. Noah, welcome to 98 FM.
Hi, Adrian. Good morning. How are you?
Good, thank you. So, take me back to Sunday evening and tell me what happened.
So, on Sunday evening, I was walking up Capel Street in Dublin there, and I saw a fox, which I thought was quite unusual. Mm-hmm. So I took out my phone to take a photograph of the fox, and a glass flew across the road at the fox. Now, luckily, it missed and shattered on the wall beside it. But, my first reaction was to turn around and look where the glass came from. And I saw two young men standing there laughing, joking, you almost got it, and things like that. When they saw me staring at them, their first reaction was to say, what's wrong with you, faggot? So, I said, was that really necessary? And referring to the glass. And after that, I was met with a barrage of, you're a faggot, you're a fat, dykey lesbian. Now, I'm a transgender man, so they got that wrong, but I wasn't going to correct them on that. I think in my head, I kind of felt if they perceive me to be a woman, maybe they won't hit me. So I grinned because I've heard this all before, and I walked away and crossed the road. Now, when I crossed the road, they followed me and started trying to square up to me with their hands out. I kept walking and ignored them, and they then crossed over to the other side of the road, and then another bottle flew across the road at me. Now, it missed me by inches and disintegrated against the wall, and whatever was in it, exploded out across my legs. Now, it didn't injure me, it didn't get me, but it very well could have, and it was very close to it. So just people like this, they have no problem in throwing glass and bottles at animals or people, and I fear to think, have they done it again, and will they do it again?
What age are we talking about now?
So I would say I would put them between maybe 17 and 19 years old.
Right, so you're not talking about stupid little 12 or 13-year-olds, 17, 18 or 19, at that sort of age, like you'd think you'd know better, to be firstly flinging a bottle at a fox, which, as you said, is an unusual sight in that part of the city, but nonetheless, they are around. But then for you obviously did what a lot of people would do and call them out on throwing a bottle at the fox, and then their anger was turned on you.
Yeah, that's what happened. And I mean, I think it's important when you see things like this, if it's safe to do so, obviously, call these things out. But what was notable is during the time when they were saying these things to me, not one other person stepped in, not one other person said anything. And this isn't an isolated thing.
Capel Street being a busy street, I'm sure there were many people around.
Well, Capel Street being a very busy street, and there were many people standing around, but I think it's also important to note that there's, maybe 4 LGBT-related premises on Capel Street. So, members of my community would frequent the street quite often, and, what's quite frightening to think is that it happens right outside an LGBT drop-in centre where there's youth groups and things like that. So, there's a lot of vulnerable people walking around the street, and now I'm lucky enough in that I'm quite resilient to that. I've had it before, I've seen it before, but other people might not be.
Now, over the last couple of weeks, and it's kind of sad that this attack happened to you over the weekend, because a couple of weeks ago a new campaign called Call It Out, using the hashtag Call It Out, was launched, where LGBT plus people across Ireland, this is what the campaign tries to achieve, deserve to live happy lives free from prejudice. For that to happen, we must step up to help bring homophobia, biphobia and transphobia to an end. But listening to what you said there, Noah, firstly, you had this incident on Capel Street on Sunday evening, but you've heard it all before, is what you said a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah, I mean, as a gay transgender man, I've had these insults thrown at me before. You know, I was physically assaulted for using a male bathroom not too long ago. So it is.
Sorry, what happened there? What happened there?
Somebody thought I wasn't supposed to be in a male bathroom, and I was had a door pushed into my face. It cut my nose. It gave me a bit of a shiner. But I mean, this isn't something that's only happened to me. This is happening to a lot of people, and I think that's why this campaign, the Call It Out campaign, and that's been led by Penny, which is the Transgender Equality Network in Ireland, and the Hate and Hostility Research Group in the University of Limerick, is so important, because we need people to call this out when they see it. That we can put a stop to this by telling people it's not okay. Now, obviously, if it's only safe to do so, but it is happening so much. The campaign did a survey and found that 21% of respondents had been physically attacked for either their sexuality or gender identity alone, and 1 in 3 of the respondents have been threatened with physical violence in Ireland. Yes, only 36% of people who took part thought that this was a serious problem for the LGBT community.
Stay there for 1 second, Noah. I want you to have a listen to this WhatsApp voice note that's just come in to me.
I want to forward a message on to Noah. I was in the year below him at school, and I just want to say what an incredible job he's doing for all the people in need in the trans community. Like, he really is an inspiration, and I feel like our school should really recognise his achievements as we're on the topic of that.
Oh, right. Well, that's very nice to hear.
That's lovely to hear.
That's a lovely message to get.
That's very nice.
Okay, so obviously there is a need for an advertising campaign like we saw, and it has been, most people will have seen it at this stage, encouraging us all to recognise that and step up to bring homophobia, biphobia and transphobia to an end, because clearly from what you're saying, Noah, it is far from at an end.
It is, and the campaign also, encourages people to report these things and have support as well as that. Now, personally, yesterday evening, I was a bit shaken for the whole kind of day afterwards. I walk up Capel Street almost every day to work, so I walked Capel Street yesterday. I was nervous. So after speaking to friends, I decided the right thing to do was report this to the Gardaí, which I did. And the Gardaí were extremely helpful, took it extremely seriously, and repeatedly told me that kind of behaviour isn't okay, and they'll be actively investigating it. But it just shows we don't have to be afraid to report these things, and the Gardaí are there to help, and they will help in any way that they can, and they've proven that to me yesterday, which I think is great, that the community is rebuilding a positive, progressive relationship with the Guards.
All right, Noah, do me a favour and stay on the line there for 1 second, because I have to take a very quick break. There's some interest in this, and I'd love to hear from you on 6797 981. 6797 981. You can text or WhatsApp the programme 0877 98 98 98. Quick break, we're back in a sec.
98FM's
Dublin Talks
with Des Kelly Interiors. For all the latest trends in carpets, vinyls and wood flooring. Des Kelly Interiors, where quality flooring costs less. 98FM.
And this is Adrian Kennedy with you until midday today. Now, we're in the middle of a conversation with Noah. And Noah took to social media over the weekend on Sunday to highlight an incident that happened to him after he tried to intervene in an incident where two people were throwing a glass at a fox. A rare enough sight on Capel Street, it has to be said. But anyway, here's what Noah wrote. I looked straight at them and was met with a barrage of faggot abuse. I crossed the road when they got aggressive and they fired another glass across the road at me. Luckily it missed and shattered on the wall. I've been a bit shook about this, so after talking to a few friends, I felt that reporting the incident to the Gardaí was the right thing to do, because next time they might not miss and someone or something will get seriously injured. It's also important to call out homophobia. Now, Noah, I know you said that the Gardaí were very supportive, obviously stating that this sort of thing is not acceptable, but will they be able to do anything? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of CCTV in that area.
Yeah, so without going into fine details of what they're investigating, they did say to me that, you know, there was two possible charges that can be taken from an incident like this, which is a stage 2 assault and a public order offence. So, you know, should they be able to identify the people by CCTV, that's a possible route that they can then go down.
All right, well, only time will tell on that one. Stay there for a second, Noah, because I know you're very keen to highlight the Call It Out campaign, to let people know that this just isn't acceptable anymore. And I want to just read, and because this is sadly how some people feel. Okay, let me just read out a message that's just come in, and it says, we all put up with that sort of scum, meaning those lads on Capel Street, not just transgender and gay people. I was called all sorts for defending a black girl. I'm not gay or trans. It happens to everybody. Why give your sexuality for an argument? What do you say to that?
Well, what I would say, well, number one, I'm sorry that person has had that kind of abuse before as well. However, that just shows the need to call these things out, because we have become so used to and so numb to this kind of abuse that we often kind of do exactly what that individual has just said and shrug it off. But we need to start realising that it is not okay and that these things have to be said. And you know, minority groups do have to be defended sometimes when they are in a vulnerable position. So I'm sorry that happened to that person. However, I think the attitude of sure it happens to everyone is what has got us here in the first place, and that people need to actually start saying when something isn't right. Okay, now stay there for a moment, because
Aoife, you describe yourself as bisexual, and you had an incident last year in the city centre as well. Tell me what happened.
Yeah, I was walking, it could have been last year, 2 years ago, I'm not sure, but I was walking in town with my girlfriend and we were holding hands and we were just talking, but like literally just holding hands. And we were walking along and this guy starts kind of walking behind us and looking at us, and out of nowhere starts kind of yelling profanities at us, calling us like effing lesbians, and you shouldn't do that, it's wrong. And
again, just to clarify, you were doing what a lot of women do as they walk the streets of Dublin. You were holding your girlfriend's hand, that was it?
Yeah.
Right. You weren't having sex in public or anything of the sort, you were holding hands?
No, and like honestly, we didn't even, like there wasn't even any kissing, like not even text, it was just holding hands, just having like that kind of.
And again, I have to ask, Aoife, what sort of age are we talking about here? Not your age.
Yeah. He looked like he was in his 50s. Like
he looked like he was in his 50s.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus, you'd think people would have a bit more sense, wouldn't you?
Yeah. like that. I work very close to George Street, so if I'm walking to my bus at night after shift, I walk by the George. And the amount of times I've seen people just standing outside the George yelling like homophobic slurs, it's ridiculous, like in this day and age.
It really does seem ridiculous that we live in a country where a huge majority of us voted in favour of equal marriage rights. You would think that we've started to leave that sort of homophobic crap, and that's all it is, in the past, but apparently not. And listening to what Noah was saying, definitely not. Let me go to Liz in Ballyfermot. How are you, Liz?
Hi, Adrian.
Liz, your point on this wasn't necessarily a homophobic attack.
Yeah, the first one. Now, what that girl went through, that
was, without a doubt. Yes, absolutely.
And what she said about people standing outside the George, that completely is, and it's completely wrong, and I agree with that. But what happened to the first, by the sounds of it, the little scumbags would have done that to anybody who caught them. Do you know, like, I don't specifically think it was a homophobic thing. The words they used to attack him were, but I mean, that's just little scrouts who see something and say what they say. You know, but by the sounds of it, they would have done it to anybody who caught them attacking a fox. And you know what I mean? They would have called anybody all sorts of names by the sounds of it. Like, that one didn't sound specifically homophobic to me.
I have to say, Noah, I had an incident a couple of years ago and again called out a group of young fellas for whatever, and their reaction to me, "Wait, mister, F off, you queer." That was their way of dealing with it. But do you think it was more than just that?
Well, what's very important to note is that any derogatory terms relating to, gay people, bisexual people, transgender people, queer people in general, it does constitute homophobia. No matter whether that person is a member of the community or not, they are homophobic slurs. So although the initiation of it might not have been homophobia related, it turned into that when they identified me as a member of the LGBT community.
Yeah, so, by the sounds of it, they'd have attacked anybody. Like, I'm overweight, so I guarantee you, if it had been me, I'd have been a fat this and a fat. Do you know what I mean? Like, by the sounds of it, they'd have been name calling to anybody. They were just that type of little scumbag.
The nature of the comments they were using were homophobia. Like I said, anything derogatory related to or prejudicial related to homophobic slurs is homophobia. And I think it's very important to note that the term homophobia is available to gay people too, and that we can use it and identify it when we feel that we've been homophobically attacked.
Okay, and you believe that it was a homophobic attack, as simple as?
Yes, I do.
All right, and Liz, you have to accept that that's just not acceptable anymore.
And it's not, I fully agree with you, it's not acceptable, but it was just, the way it comes across to me is that he came across a couple of scumbags who were they were out for attack. Do you know what I mean? And they'd have attacked anybody who called them out for what they were doing. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't necessarily sound to me like, oh, they've seen him and just went on a homophobic rant. Whereas what the other girl, when she called in, she was saying, like, that is a homophobic rant to me. That's just somebody who is homophobic and went on a rant. Whereas these people, for all you know, they have gay people in their family. Transgenders, you wouldn't know. It's not so much that they're homophobic.
Okay, they're just idiots. But as I said, Noah firmly believes it turned into a homophobic attack. Noah, I hate hearing stories like this. I hate hearing of people not being able to live how they want to live and being subjected to abuse for just living their lives. And look, I wish you well, and I hope these incidents don't continue for you and for anybody else in the LGBT community. Thanks very much indeed for talking to us, Noah.
Thanks for having me on, and thanks for highlighting that, Adrian.
And if you've been affected by any of the issues we've been talking about, you can check out the website teni.ie, teni.ie, or you can phone them on 01873 3575. This is 98 FM. 98. Live Live and exclusive to Dublin's 98FM, Monday through Friday between 10 and midday. This is Adrian Kennedy. You're with 98FM's Dublin Talks. And Georgie is here with Monday's top headlines.
Thanks, Adrian. Good morning. Katie Taylor has arrived home to huge crowds at Dublin Airport. She became the undisputed lightweight champion of the world in New York over the weekend. Katie took pictures with fans and signed hundreds of autographs. She says she's overwhelmed by the support. A parish priest says he welcomes comments by the Archbishop of Dublin to stop showy gangland funerals. It's after 3 men were killed in the capital in the space of a week. And hundreds of passengers at Dublin Airport were left frustrated as a result of long delays at passport control yesterday. It's led to calls for increased capacity to deal with the queues to get through the backlog. Now you're up to date on 98.
Thanks very much indeed, Georgie. I just want to address actually something, a couple of messages in about asking us to talk about an incident that happened over the weekend as well at Windy Arbour, where, and I know loads of you have seen the video of these young ones verbally attacking a Mexican man, abusing him from the heights, telling him to get out of the country and he wasn't welcome, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, a lot of you asking us to talk about it. We can't, unfortunately, talk about it because the girls in the video filmed at Arbour Hill, Windy Arbour, should I say, over the weekend, they're minors. And we will get into a lot of trouble if we discuss it. It's as simple as that. So for legal reasons, because those girls are minors, we can't, despite all of your requests for us to talk about it, we can't talk about it. Just wanted to address that.
98 FM's Dublin Talks. Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
It's Monday morning and, summer is well and truly underway. It really is. Look at that. It's a beautiful Irish summer.
I had a barbecue at the weekend.
Weren't you lucky? What, in between the showers?
No, I had the barbecue indoors, but it was still a barbecue.
It's not a barbecue when it's indoors.
It is. I had barbecue chicken.
That's not a barbecue.
It was Findus barbecue chicken.
Did you cook it on a... No,
I cooked it in the oven.
Yeah.
That was my barbecue at the weekend.
Anyway, welcome to summer 2019. By the way, it's going to be raining all week.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Do your head in. Anyhow, I'm here and Mr. Dixon is there.
Yes. People have been posting on website Reddit about their worst injury they ever had as a child. And we were talking about this in the office this morning because...
Oh, sorry, by the way, it's Tuesday. Did I say it was Monday? It's Tuesday, I'm sorry.
I have to start again.
Sorry, it's just lots of texts coming in, lots of messages coming in. It's Tuesday, sorry, my bad. It's just when after a bank holiday weekend, you think it's Monday.
Did people actually text in to tell you?
What sorry about that, sorry. It's Tuesday, okay, it's Tuesday.
Oh, they did, look.
Yeah, it's Tuesday.
Texting in.
Yeah, it's Tuesday. Sorry about that. My bad. No, sorry, continue.
Well, start. I hadn't even started.
Oh, yeah, okay. Continue on this Tuesday.
People have been posting on website Reddit about the worst injuries they had as a child. And some of these stories are pretty horrific. And we were talking about this in the office earlier on this morning. Every single one of you listening to the show right now suffered an injury as a child. Now, we're not talking about that you had a disease when you were younger or whatever the case may be. We're talking about ways you got injured from just being a child. And there's some horrific stories being posted by people on the website. And some of the most common injuries, well, we'll talk about them in a sec. But we want to hear from you, don't we, Adrian?
Yes, we want to hear from you this Tuesday. I just want to clarify that I do realise it's just the bank holiday weekend has thrown me off kilter a bit. Yes, we want to hear from you on 6797 981. You can text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. We want to know what injuries you suffered as a child. The worst injury I ever suffered was a bird shit landing on my head as I cycled my bike.
That's how much of a sheltered childhood you had.
No, I was out on my bike, but my God, it hit me a right wallop.
Okay.
It did.
I think you've set the bar pretty low for this.
Yes, I have.
It can only go higher.
And I mentioned earlier on, I've been very lucky actually throughout my life. I've never had a break. I've never been in had any part of my body in a cast.
But you weren't. Don't take offence to this.
Yeah.
I don't mean offence by it. You weren't a very active teen.
Oh, no, I was. I actually was. I was just very lucky.
No, you weren't active at all. Did you climb trees and all?
Of course I did. I told you this before. We lived up the trees.
Had you not got a house?
No, we lived up the trees. Okay. We spent all our time up the trees in Oakton Park and Ballybrack.
So you were raised in the tree?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, yes, we want to hear from you on 6797 981. You can text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. I want to find out what injuries you sustained as a child, just being a child, basically.
Now, I have two, and I still have the scar of one of them. My first injury that I had as a child, and I remember it vividly, 12 years of age, and me and my mates decided that we were going to box an orchard. Isn't that what it was called back in the day?
That's what it was called, yeah.
So boxing an orchard, what that meant was you would break into an orchard, and that's how wild I was, and you would steal the apples. Now, of course, this was the days before Lidl and Aldi, so you couldn't get apples, like 50 apples for a £5. So we had to go to an orchard to get the apples. So I broke into an orchard down the road from us to rob the apples. And as I was robbing the apples, the man who owned the orchard came running out of his house. What are you doing in my garden? What are you doing in my garden? I legged it with a jumper full of apples, and didn't I trip in his garden and fell over a nettle bush. Now, this was during the summer, and I was only wearing a T-shirt and shorts and
all right,
sandals.
so the nettles were at the height of their growth.
The height of their growth, and I slipped into a full bush of nettles. It wasn't funny, Adrian. In my shorts, my T-shirts and my sandals. And I swear to God, there wasn't an inch of my face or arms or legs that weren't covered in nettle bites. And I was in bits. I had to stay indoors for about a week and bathe in, what's that stuff you put in the... What's the stuff you put in the bath when you have nettle stings?
I don't know.
What's the stuff? Powder.
Powder?
No, what's it called?
I don't know.
It's pink. And your mother buys it in the chemist. She pours it into the bath.
I've absolutely no idea what you're talking about even.
Okay, well anyway, she put this mysterious pink liquid in the bath, and I had to bathe in it for the whole week, and it was absolutely horrific. The most painful thing that's ever happened to me. Then 2 years later, while cycling my bike, I had a bell on my bike. Remember kids used to have bells on my bike?
Yeah.
And the nut on the bell got stuck in my knee and jammed into my knee when I was cycling my bike. There was a nut in the bell. And I want to show Adrian now. And now this is 35 years ago. So I arrived home to my mother and father with a nut sticking out of my kneecap. And I want to show you. I'm going to put my knee up on the table here.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Oh, I can see it, yeah.
I still have the scar never left me. And I have to say, having a scar when you're older, when I entered my 20s, it was a chat-up line I used to use for women all the time.
But look at me, war injury.
Women love scars. They love scars of men. And they used to say, do you want to see a scar that I have? And they go, oh yes, Jeremy, show me the scar. And you'd pull up your trousers, and there's the scar.
Call us right now on 6797 981. You can text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. A chamomile lotion, was it?
Chamomile, that's what it was called.
It, thank you.
But just to put this in perspective again, Adrian's worst injury as a child was a bird crapped on his head.
Yeah. Oh, I got a kick in the you-know-whats once as well.
Who hasn't?
Yeah, that was very...
That was only 5 years ago.
That was very painful.
That was only 5 years ago.
Awful. Anne, you're on 98 FM. We're talking about childhood injuries. What happened to you, Anne?
I cut my arm in the mangle of a washing machine when I was 6 years old.
Say that again?
I cut my arm in the mangle of a washing machine when I was 6 years old.
Oh. Ouch.
I was very naughty, playing with something I shouldn't have. They had just brought out, I'm 50 years old now, so quite a long time ago. They had just brought out like an automatic, you know, the old style they used to wind the handle and the two rolls would wind.
Yes.
So they had just brought out this new machine, and you just pressed a button and they automatically start rolling.
And this was, by the way, for people who don't remember this is way back in the day, where you, instead of like having a clothes dryer, which most people have now, you would put your clothes through this wringer, basically.
No way.
That would literally squash the water out of it.
Ah, stop.
Yeah.
And they, you know, back in the day, they were wind-up things, and then they came up with this wonderful new invention that it actually rolled automatically when you put the clothes in. But you got your arm caught in that.
Yeah, I would have had long hair as a child, and I had like a material hairband, and I'd been watching my mum. And Mum went out to answer the door, of course. I decided, well, sure, I'll see how this works. Put the hairband in, pressed the button, and it took my hand with it.
Ouch.
I find this whole conversation bizarre because I didn't know such a thing existed.
Yeah.
As
what for pressing clothes, for rolling clothes, literally
Yeah.
squeezing the water out of them.
And that's how you dried clothes back in the day.
Well, no, you'd put them on the line then after that, but you couldn't put them on the line soaking wet. You had to wring the water out of them. This is before spin dryers were invented.
And do you still have the scars of it, or are you?
I do. I have a scar that goes from my wrist right up to the bottom part of my elbow, and then I have a big gash where it ripped an artery.
Right, okay, this is fairly serious. Thank you, Anne. 6797 981 is our telephone number. You can text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98 and let us know what injury you sustained as a child. Have a listen to this message. As a kid, maybe 3 or 4, I was in Salt Hill in Galway on a caravan holiday and tripped over the cement block step. You know the step to go up into the caravan?
Yeah.
It was a cement block. And bounced the bridge of my nose off the aluminium lip of the caravan door. Ouch. What?
Doesn't sound that painful.
It does sound that painful. Not a fun day. Went to hospital to get lots of stitches. Poor me. And let me go to Dave. You're on 98 FM. How are you, Dave?
Morning, lads.
Hey, Dave.
Dave, you have broken both wrists twice.
Yeah, I have, yeah. Each wrist twice, yeah. There was once, I was actually only really small. I fell out of the pram. I managed to get myself out the straps and I got caught up in them. But I fell over the side of the pram and my wrist got caught in the straps. And I broke my wrist. Then I fell off a ladder, broke my wrist. I was on a tractor one time, going over a skateboard ramp, and I broke my wrist. And then the next one was, what was it? I think I was actually on a skateboard out in the front garden, and I just kind of slipped on it. And
so you've broken both your wrists twice.
Yeah, that was all before I was about 12, I think. And then another bad one was actually, I never actually found out about this until a few good years later. I was out playing rounders one day with the lads, and of course we just had a lump of timber, like an 8x4 kind of thing, or a 2x4, and we were playing it with stones, and one of the guys threw a stone and I went to hit it with the thing, but I missed it and it hit me in the eye, like square in the eye, but it cut me eyeball and stuff, but all the grit kind of went in behind it.
Sorry, you cut your eyeball?
Yeah, so I ended up going to the eye and ear, and I had to have my eye taken out.
Really?
And cleaned in behind it.
No.
Yeah, I know. I did. They never actually told me that for years after. Like,
well, why would they?
Yeah, I know.
Can they do that? They can take your eyeball out and clean it and then put it back in.
Yeah, literally. I kind of remember vaguely the day that it happened. I had this kind of a big black kind of thing that was put in front of my head, and like it covered kind of one side of my face. And they just literally popped out my eye and washed in behind. I don't know, they put my eye down, or because it's all still kind of connected anyway, but like they kind of pointed it to the black, so I didn't see anything but black, obviously, but they washed in behind it, and then they just like popped my eye back in.
That's absolutely brilliant that they can do that.
Yeah.
Well, believe it or not, we had another message. I can't find it now, but I read it a couple of minutes ago, and it's basically from somebody saying, when I was 7, I lost my eye because a stone was kicked up from the lawnmower and went right into his eye.
Yeah, we were playing baseball with it, and that's what happened. That one, I missed the stone with the thing, and it hit me square in the eye. Like, so.
But you're all right now.
I'm all right now.
Now, have you any arthritis or anything in your wrists?
No, the odd time, like, they do be a bit sore, but like they're very kind of clicky, you know. That they're quite weak.
What age are you?
But, like, I'm 38.
Ah, yeah, you're screwed.
Yeah, that's a middle age.
I'm joking. Good man, Dave. Thanks very much indeed. 6797 981 is our telephone number. Text or WhatsApp us on 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. We're talking about injuries that you sustained as a kid. Let's have a listen to this WhatsApp voice message.
Well, lads, when I was about 6 years of age, I decided to get into my sleeping bag and slide down the stairs in the sleeping bag. Lo and behold, went through the actual frame of the front door and I broke my wrist.
Who hasn't slid down their own stairs in
a sleeping bag?
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to love sliding down the stairs on my stomach. Like head first
down
the stairs.
Was the hall door right at the end of the stairs?
No, we had a pane of glass at the end of the stairs. Yeah, it was broken many times. And another WhatsApp voice note.
Lads, when I was younger, I got my leg broke playing football. I fell off the other team, two-footed me and snapped my leg. But the worst part about it is I didn't realise how bad my leg was and tried to get up, and then the bone came through the skin.
Here's one. I was cycling home from school when I was 15 years of age. Car pulled out in front of me, slammed on the brakes, went over the handlebars of my bike, and my two front teeth banged into the handlebars of my bike, went through my lip and cut my lip right open.
We're talking about injuries that you sustained when you were a child. Just being a child.
Go on. Listen to this one from Jamie. My mother, when I was 10 years of age, was walking down the road with me. It was a rainy day and she had her umbrella out. She ended up taking out my left eye with her umbrella. Now, I assume by mean taking out the eye, did she actually poke his eye out with the umbrella?
Is it Adele in Fairview? Hi, Adele.
Hey.
How are you?
Not too bad.
Oh, it says, sorry, it's Adele, yeah. No, sorry, Adele. What happened to you as a child?
Myself and my brother were supposed to be going to school, and there was a rope swing, like literally at the bottom of the road, but it was kind of like a derelict kind of area, so it was there for a long time. And myself and my brother decided to get on it. When I got on it, I fell when the rope swing hit its highest point before flying back, and I came right down on my wrist. My brother...
Yeah, go on.
My brother scampered off to school, and I was left on the ground.
Oh, he just left you there?
He legged it?
Yeah, he liked it because he didn't want to get into trouble, because he knew he was already going to be in trouble for being on the swing and not at school.
So rather than helping his sister in her hour of need, he legged it?
Yeah.
And you were left there in agony?
I was left there, and of course I ended up, just kind of wobbling home, and my mum goes, "Why are you not at school?" And of course I just said I was at the road swing. I didn't rattle my brother at the time. So she never knew he was there. She always just thought it was me on my own.
You're a good sister then for not ratting him out. Fair play to you. All right.
You probably know now.
Well, I was about to say, now the whole world knows. What's your brother's name, by the way?
Robert.
Robert left his sister. You could have been dead, Adele.
He just heard me moaning and just like, I'm going to see a bye.
Well, wait to hear this story, Adele. I was running, back in school, I was running through the corridor. I was holding, you should never hold a pen in your hand when you're running.
No, indeed. Yeah.
I was running down the corridor in school with a pen in my hand. I tripped over my laces and fell. The pen went practically through my mouth and came out the other side of my mouth. I had a hole in my cheek. And it took 6 months to heal the hole in my cheek. I still have a scar on my cheek of where the pen went through. So literally, Adrian, she was running with the pen, tripped, pen went into her mouth, stuck out the cheek, went right through the cheek and out the other side of her mouth.
Let's have a listen to this WhatsApp voice note.
Hi guys, when I was about 10 in the summertime, a pair of shorts fell down the back of the radiator and I really wanted to wear them. So what I did was I got a wire hanger and unravelled it, and when I was doing that, the hook of the hanger snapped and it slid straight up the centre of my arm and put my arm into two pieces. So that was hours up in Temple Street and a load of stitches, and I still have the scar to this day.
Still has the scar.
I don't think, maybe I'm wrong, I don't think kids get as many injuries now as they did years ago.
No, because...
When was the last time you heard of a kid?
Yeah, they're wrapped in cotton wool, that's
When was the last time you heard of a kid getting impaled on a pen?
I haven't.
It doesn't happen anymore.
Or a kid falling out of a tree. No. Gwen is in Skerries. Hiya, Gwen.
Morning, guys. How are you?
Gwen, tell me your story.
I was off sick from school with torn ligaments in one of my ankles from hockey, and I had been sewing my school uniform the night before, so I'm hopping around my bedroom and I hopped on the sewing needle that had fallen on the floor. The eye of the needle went up the foot first, so all I could see was a piece of thread coming out of my foot. My brother tried to pull the string out, but obviously we didn't know the needle had gone in backwards. So ended up in a wheelchair for 6 weeks because they had to operate to remove the needle and obviously the torn ligaments on the other foot. So I was in a wheelchair for 6 months or 6 weeks.
So you could see threads? There was threads?
All I could see was a bit of thread. You know, you feed the thread through the eye of the needle, but the eye had gone up first.
Adrian, just picture threads.
I am picturing it, yeah. Oh, that sounds awful.
Yeah.
Oh, 6 weeks. Oh.
Yeah, but I got so much sympathy. It was actually, this is so daft. It was the time Mary Robinson came to open a new garden in Skerries, and she came over and shook my hand because I was the little girl in the wheelchair.
And could she see were the threads still there?
No, they just sliced my foot open at the sole and they took it out and stitched it up. Away you are.
So threads were gone.
But you got to meet Mary Robinson.
I got to meet Mary Robinson.
Because she came over to you because the poor little girl was in a wheelchair.
Poor little girl in a wheelchair, and my mother's fuming at me because I'm under her feet for 6 weeks.
Well, thank God houses don't have knitting needles anymore. You wouldn't find a knitting needle in most houses.
No, a sewing needle.
Sewing needle. Do people still use sewing needles?
Yeah, of course they do. I was only using one yesterday.
Really? I don't have a sewing kit in my house.
Do you not?
No, why would
Who
you?
doesn't have a sewing kit?
Why do you need a sewing kit nowadays?
I have to sew things, obviously.
I haven't sewed anything in years.
I had a jumper with a little hole under the arm and I sewed it yesterday and it's back to normal.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Gwen.
Thank you. Bye.
And have you still a scar?
Yeah, a little scar, and it gets itchy in the cold.
Oh, does it? All right, okay.
Yeah.
Finally, Darren in Ballymount. How are you, Darren?
Morning, lads. How are you?
Hey, Darren.
Tell me what happened with the gas cylinder.
Yeah, we went up to get a bottle of gas from my mother, and we had a kind of on a harbour pram, and we were pushing it home, and my friend decided to walk behind me, literally by the 2 legs. Of course, I fell face down onto the pavement. The gas cylinder fell. I had my hand out, broke 2 of my fingers. For a moment.
Oh, we're losing you there, Darren. I think we've lost you, Darren. Yep, we've lost him. He's gone.
Can I finish off?
We may never hear the end of the gas cylinder story.
Well, I'm sure it didn't end good.
No.
Can I finish off with this one, Adrian? This is, and if you're very sensitive, this won't be for you. Okay, this is the type of story that will make you literally cringe. Okay, so Adrian, I was 8 years of age, and I was in the bathroom on my own, brushing my teeth. I looked across the bathroom and saw my father's razor. Okay, you know where this is going.
Mm-hmm.
Saw my father's razor on the top of the bathroom. I decided it would be a good idea to shave my tongue.
What age are we talking about?
8.
Right, I decided to shave my tongue.
I thought it'd be a good idea to shave my tongue. So, this isn't funny.
Go on.
You don't even have hair in your tongue, do you?
No.
So, I took my father's razors. It was one of the old Bic razors. Remember those disposable razors?
Hideous yolks,
Hideous yolks, yeah. I stuck my tongue out in the mirror. Yeah, right there.
Go on.
Took my father's razor with my left hand, held my tongue straight out, and ended up sticking the razor at the back of my tongue and shaving in a forward motion like I'd seen my father do so many times.
Not with his tongue, he
Not
did.
with his tongue. All I remember is waking up in hospital the next day. I couldn't suck my thumb for weeks afterwards. Can we just say
98FM does not condone shaving your tongue ever.
Not even if it's hairy.
No,
Never.
Never, ever, ever.
Oh my God, that's horrific.
That is horrific. Here, we have one more WhatsApp voice note.
How you doing, guys? I have a few for you. Basically spent my whole childhood in plaster cast. I broke both my wrists at the same time. I broke my elbow, my knee. I broke my ankle numerous times. I've split myself open.
Oh, he just got cut off in the middle of that. My 2-year-old had his first real accident yesterday. He was running around the house with a labello in his hand. What's a labello?
I'll look it up. Go on.
The lid was off. He fell and the labello sliced into his chin. A trip to A&E was required and he got 2 stitches.
It's lip balm. You know the stuff that you put in your lips when they're chapped?
That's what I thought it was, but how's that going to cut the face off you? Sliced into his chin.
Because it's a plastic. It's in a plastic.
Oh, yeah, in a round plastic thing. Yeah. All right, okay. Anyway, trip to A&E was required and he got 2 stitches. And finally, back in the day, 30 years ago, no heating. My mum had one of the gas heaters in the bathroom. My brother bent down to get his towel and he burned his bum off the gas heater.
Did he shave his tongue, though? No.
No, I doubt he did. I've never heard of anybody ever in the history of anything I've ever heard shaving their tongue. That was funny. Anyway, you're listening to 98 FM's Dublin Talks. It is Tuesday morning, and this is Adrian with you until midday today. On the way after the break, I want to talk about alcoholism. And it's a topic that we very rarely discuss on the show. And obviously it affects an awful lot of people. But I have it's a kind of heart-moving story from a lady called Antoinette, which I'm going to share with you after the break. And she's basically saying that people don't have enough empathy or sympathy or whatever word you want to use towards people living with the disease of alcoholism. I'll let you hear Antoinette's message straight after the break.
98 FM's Dublin Talks with Des Kelly Interiors. For all the latest trends in carpets, vinyls and wood flooring. Des Kelly Interiors, where quality flooring costs less. 98 FM.
And this is Adrian Kennedy with you on this beautiful summer's day. Oh no, sorry, this isn't a recording. It's not a beautiful summer's day at all. It's a manky old day. Anyhow, alcoholism is a topic that we rarely discuss on the show, yet it affects so many people. According to the Rutland Centre, alcoholism is the most common addiction they face. Over 80% of people that they treat for alcoholism. And around 150,000 Irish people are classified as dependent drinkers, in other words, alcoholics. But why is there so little sympathy for someone who has this disease? And why do we treat alcoholism with less sympathy than we would, say, if somebody was living with cancer, for example? Well, we received a heartbreaking email over the weekend from a self-confessed alcoholic. Her name is Antoinette, and her story is a kind of a sad one, really. But she has an issue with the public reaction to her disease and the fact that some people don't even consider it a disease. Have a listen to what Antoinette wrote to us. Good afternoon, lads. So this was sent to us over the bank holiday weekend. I've never heard you talk about this topic. I'm an alcoholic and have been for 10 years. I turned to drink back in 2010 when my marriage broke up. It became a disease very quickly and took over my life. I lost contact with many family members because of it, including my own son. I live alone. I've been getting treatment, but I have fallen back into the trap many times. It's a disease. I'm not ashamed of it. I never asked for this disease. I just wish the public were more understanding. I tell people I'm an alcoholic and they don't show much compassion at all. I get told to stop drinking. Would they say that to someone who had cancer? I have a disease, and like any disease, it is outside my control. I'm not looking for sympathy. I know my life is pathetic, but when people tell me that my alcoholism is not a disease, it really annoys me. Can you get my story across on your show and find out why people are so unsympathetic? Would you tell someone with cancer to just get on with it and cop yourself on? I get told this by people every day. And that's from a lady called Antoinette. And I'd love to hear from you on 6797 981. You can text or WhatsApp the programme on 0877 98 98 98. Basically, our question is, why are people so unsympathetic toward her and other alcoholics living with the disease of alcoholism? And I know a lot of you, when you hear that, your reaction will be, that's not a disease. Well, actually, the World Health Organization has classed alcoholism as a disease. Call me right now on 6797 981. Text or WhatsApp the programme on 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. Stan, you're on Dublin's 98 FM. How are you, Stan?
Morning, Adrian.
Now, Stan, what did you want to say on this?
The reason people don't give sympathy to alcoholics is there's nothing to look at to say that you're sick. Alcoholism is a disease.
Somebody who's living with cancer, there's nothing necessarily to look at to say that they're sick either.
There is. You can see a change in them, like like the physical effect that cancer has on somebody. And if they're going through treatment, obviously the hair loss and all. But with alcoholism, you don't physically see anything. You know what I mean? It's all inside. It's all inside your head. And that's what it attacks. It's a dangerous, horrible thing to have.
It is. And like I said, the World Health Organization has officially classed alcoholism as a disease. So you would think, with that in mind, then people would be more empathetic to somebody who is living with alcoholism. Why are we not? Why don't we treat it as the same as we would treat any other serious illness?
Because people say it's self-inflicted.
Yes.
Put down the drink. Don't drink if you have a problem. It's not as easy as that. You don't know you have a problem when you take your first drink. It's only over time that the problem builds up, and then it becomes uncontrollable and unmanageable. And it can take everything in a second, and your head will tell you that things are grand, everybody else has the problem.
Okay, so it's because we believe that it should be so easy to just knock this thing on the head. It should be so easy to just stop drinking.
Yeah, it should be so easy for you to say, oh no, I don't want that drink. But it's not as easy as that. People slip back into it for comfort, for all types of things, to get away, to bury their thoughts, to bury their pain.
And she says that. She said, I turned to drink back in 2010 when my marriage broke down.
Yeah.
I mean, stress can bring on different diseases. In her case, she turned to drink.
Yeah, that's what happens. I mean, but as I said, because there's no physical, you can't see any change. You don't know somebody's an alcoholic until you talk to them. Or you often have this stereotypical type of an alcoholic, the fellow who sits on the park bench with a bottle of wine.
Yes.
Or the fellow who's, in the pub 7 days a week. You could go to the pub 7 days a week and it wouldn't be an alcoholic. You could go to the pub 1 day a week and be an alcoholic. It's what it does to you. Everybody's stage of alcoholism is different.
And you yourself, did you have an issue with alcohol?
I did, yeah, a long time ago. Destroyed everything. I was a functional alcoholic though. I went to work every day, and normal people to see me and see my life thought I was normal. It was what was happening inside.
And what was happening inside?
I was destroying myself, destroying my kids' lives, my marriage. Threw it all away.
Now, like I said, the World Health Organization has classed alcoholism as a disease. And there are many other things that are diseases. And somebody just texted in, and I think this is where the problem is comparing being an alcoholic to somebody having cancer is effing outrageous. What would you say to that?
But I can see where they're coming from, because cancer is a horrible disease that nobody has any control over, and this person is probably coming from the point of view of you can put a drink down. So that's why people don't get sympathy. That's why alcoholics don't get sympathy. It's very, it's very hard for an alcoholic to get a sympathetic ear of somebody who doesn't understand what they're going through.
So you believe that it is a disease that literally takes you over?
It is, yeah, it is. It's stinking thinking. That's the phrase they use, isn't it? And your mind just convinces you everything's okay. Have that drink, you'll be grand. But your body as well, your body craves the chemicals that's in the alcohol once you become addicted to it. It's like anything else, like cigarettes, heroin. You become addicted to them then.
All right, stay there for 1 second, Stan, because Kieran, you say, no, this is not a disease, end of story.
No, it's not. No, I don't believe it's a disease whatsoever. I think cancer is a disease because you get cancer. Alcoholism is something you inflict on yourself.
Is it though? Because if that were the case, then everybody who drinks would suffer from alcoholism, but we don't. Only certain people do.
Yeah, because other people know how to stop. They can go out, have a social drink what they want. They're okay for drinking around their social drink. It's fine, but not. Some people just can't stop. So I wouldn't class it as a disease. I class that you inflict that on yourself. That's why I would look at it.
But as I said, the World Health Organization has classed alcoholism as a chronic disease, actually.
Well, I wouldn't agree with that whatsoever. I really wouldn't, because you have other people out there who are dying, who are sick naturally, and then you have someone who's going on fitting themselves with this substance, drink alcohol, and just ruin their lives. They're perfectly healthy in the beginning, and they just ruined our lives.
But isn't this the point, though? That and this is what this lady is saying in her message, that she's not looking for sympathy, but people just simply tell her, just stop drinking. And her argument is, it was that simple, I would just stop drinking.
Yeah, but some people can't stop. No, I agree with that.
So therefore, that's where the disease aspect of it comes into play, that some people literally get controlled.
No, that's abuse. That's of their body. Disease is something that you can't stop because you get it, like cancer or something else. Like, whatever other disease you get, you can't. But the actual alcoholism, if they start in the beginning and they just don't stop because, they're having a great time or whatever, and then all of a sudden it controls their life. To me, that's not disease. That's the way I look at it.
Okay, stay there for 1 second, Kieran. 6797 981 is our telephone number. You can text or WhatsApp the programme 0877 98 98 98. Let's have a listen to this WhatsApp voice note.
Being an alcoholic is not a disease, it's an addiction. Plain as day, it's an addiction. It's self-inflicted, and it can't be helped if you're willing to get the help. Diseases is a whole other different issue altogether.
Have a listen to this message that's just come in. I don't want to go on air because people will know me. I listened to your show a few months back where the girl was in the hotel room drinking wine with warm water. I was a secret functioning alcoholic, and the day after that show, I went to my doctor. I'm now 14 days sober, early days, but I don't want to drink, and that's thanks to listening to your show. I could see where I would end up. I'm fresh, happy, and the doctor was so understanding. You won't get help if you don't ask for it. I'd love to hear from you on 6797 981. Text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. Another message here says, just because the World Health Organization classes it as a disease doesn't make it one. Anyone with an ounce of cop on knows it's self-inflicted, an insult to those who support people with different diseases. All right, quick break. Back in a sec.
98FM's
Dublin Talks
with Des Kelly Interiors. For all the latest trends in carpets, vinyls and wood flooring. Des Kelly Interiors, where quality flooring costs less. 98FM.
Here's what the World Health Organization say about alcoholism. Alcohol is a psychoactive substance with dependence-producing properties that has been widely used in many cultures for centuries. The harmful use of alcohol causes a large disease, social and economic burdens in societies. So they clearly use the word disease. Teresa, you're on 98FM. Hi, Teresa.
Hi, Adrian. Hope you had a nice weekend.
Yes, indeed. You're dry 2 years.
Yes.
And okay, tell me about the lead up to that.
The lead up to it was I had a accident.
Sorry,
fell downstairs.
Sorry, Teresa, I'm losing you there. Say that again.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go on.
I had an accident. I fell down my daughter's stairs, and it was alcohol induced. Not to break you, but I had a C2 fracture of the vertebrae. Considering how people have fallen downstairs and not recovered, I am so lucky. But when I came home after learning how to walk again, I couldn't go back to work, and then, lo and behold, alcohol became my best friend.
Right.
Now, when I say my best friend, I would have had a couple of glasses of wine in the evening when I come home from work. But then it became problematic.
How? In what way did it become problematic?
When it just blocked out everything. All my past and all the shit that had gone on. Sorry, about, throughout my young days and my young life. Because I'm an alcoholic, functioning as an engineer. And my brother passed away from alcohol-related liver and everything else failure.
Right.
Now, I thought it was... I do believe that it might be genetic. Would it be from my would it be in my genes?
And a lot of people believe that as well. You know, some, for example, women might have a predisposition toward breast cancer, and other people believe that the same applies to alcoholism, that it almost runs in families.
Yes. But my journey was, I have two amazing young daughters, absolutely amazing friends. And when my alcohol, when I get up in the morning, I'm just going to give you a brief run through. When I get up in the morning, I would put the kettle on, I'd go to get milk, and I'd see maybe a half bottle of wine. And I would drink it.
There and then?
With the teeth, yeah?
Without even thinking twice about it?
No. And this is stripped there, I'm telling you now. And that continued, and a lot of things started to slip. But then again, I was a functioning alcoholic. I could go out, I could do shopping, but my main focus was to make sure I had enough alcohol.
Now, let me ask you this. What was the final straw for you? What was the thing that made you say, right, this has to stop?
I can honestly remember the morning that I was kneeling down beside my bed. I went on to vodka, and I just could not. I couldn't stop. And my daughters said to me, Mum, you can't leave you in charge of the grandchildren, so on and so on.
Really? You were told that you'd such a problem you couldn't look after your own grandchildren?
No.
Wow.
Because when I was looking after them, I was drinking, which was irresponsible. Totally irresponsible. And I realise that now. And I've made amends to my daughters. I felt so bad one morning, physically. I was just kneeling down, just saying, Jesus, please help me. I need help. I linked in with an alcohol place here, rehab. It was called Orchling, and also Yap.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, just for some reason, I was walking down the road. I met someone I knew, and he said to me, how are you feeling? Oh, how are you? And I said, burst out crying, and I told him. So he brought me down there, and straight away I got a taxi to Beaumont Hospital, admitted myself, and I must say they treated me with great dignity, really great dignity. I couldn't even speak, Adrian, when I got up to the desk. I was shaking, my head, I was just about to go into a seizure. I was taken to the high dependency unit.
Oh,
can you hear me?
Sorry, Teresa, there's something mad going on with your phone. 1 minute it's really clear and the next minute it's really blurry. I don't know what's going on with it.
I actually have it plugged in. I'm charging it.
Oh, right. But anyway, you basically reached rock bottom when your own daughter wouldn't let you mind your grandchildren. You obviously decided, right, I have to deal with this. How are you now, 2 years later?
How am I now? Would you believe I just picked up... I'm good. I'm really good. I can go to occasions. I went to... just recently, last weekend, I went to my niece's daughter's christening down in County Kildare. And it didn't bother me.
Okay, so you're getting used to living life without alcohol?
I am indeed. And there is... I'm just looking here, Adrian, on this. Only time will cure this depression. It takes up to 2 years from the last drink for our brain to come to healthy again. The memory will always be damaged.
All right, stay there for 1 second, Teresa. 6797981. You can text or WhatsApp us on 0877 98 98 98. Tom, you're on Dublin's 98 FM. How are you, Tom?
Not too bad now, thank you.
Tom, I just got a message in a couple of minutes ago, and you can probably relate to this. And well, in fact, it's your message, actually.
It's my message,
yes, it's your message. And it's basically about your brother, who is living with your elderly parents, and he is an alcoholic.
Yeah. So he basically lives at home, is an alcoholic, and I do understand it's a disease. But if a person is not willing to get help, why stay in a situation with your elderly parents and make their life hell? That's the last couple of years of their life.
And reading your message, like this man literally leeches off them and gets...
Well, just ask them to go to the shop to get drink at at 9 o'clock at night, 9:30 at night before the office and close, makes me elderly parents go to the shops to get drink from. But what I'm trying to get at here is they always end up in hospital, whether he ends up in hospital falling down the stairs, fracturing his skull, or whether, like there last year, fell on top of me elderly mother, broke her ribs, he broke his part of his body, and they end up in the same ambulance together. And we got social services involved to try to get him help, try to get them help. And basically, if this was a child in this situation, the social services would have no problem taking a child out of this situation.
But when it's a grown adult...
When it's a grown adult, nothing. There seems to be...
Let me ask you, Tom, how do you feel about the fact that the World Health Organization described this as a disease? And a disease, in my opinion, is something over which you have very little control.
Yeah. I completely... I do agree with that. You can talk to the person when he's sober and he's saying, I won't go back on the drink, it's going to get money, he gets drink. And I do believe it is a disease and it is overpowering, and it's turned into a mental health issue as well, you know, not just with the damage that has done to him and damage that he has done to him before that, between strokes and everything else before the disease kicked in, and then the disease kicked in after that. So it is a disease, 100%, yeah. But I think it's the help out there for the elderly parents at the minute. They always end up in hospital. They're only in between accidents belonging to him or between them. The two parents are actually in hospital right now as I speak for different medical issues, and we're still banging our heads off the wall trying to get social workers to make interventions, and we're told...
And okay, Kieran, when you hear that story from Tom, surely you have to agree that it should be classed as a disease. A disease, in my opinion, is something over which you have no control.
Well, yeah, that's true. You have no control over it. But, I mean, it's still like to me, if you drink, right, you're self-inflicting on yourself, okay? And you get a disease, but the disease you probably get would be multiple cirrhosis of the liver or something, because you're giving it to yourself. There was an earlier text, a woman said she was off 14 days off it, right, which is great, okay? And another woman there, you know, something changed in life to take them off the drink, and it's great, they stopped. But they stopped, and they don't have a disease now. They probably are living with alcohol in the rest of their life, you know, in like, if they take a drink, they're off the wagon. But they don't have, like, something like cancer or cirrhosis or
Sorry,
something.
Tom, say that again?
Has he lived with an alcoholic?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Let me ask you, Kieran, Tom, let me ask you, a lot of people are texting in, can your parents not kick him out because they're actually enabling him?
No, there's a technical issue there with the home ownership and all. It goes beyond just him living. But by parents kicking him out onto the street, that's one thing. And the poor person, the homelessness with mental health issues is not really. It's solving one problem and not solving another problem. We'd like for there be an intervention made that somebody could go in and get help, hopefully, whether it's sheltered housing from Lord Father, whether it's him going into a treatment centre.
But throwing him out is not a solution at this moment. And one last call, and I'm sorry we're out of time on this, but Jess, very quickly, what did you want to say on this?
Basically, I think, I don't even know what I was going to say, but yeah, I don't think it's a disease. I think it's something you choose to do yourself, basically, because my brother is an alcoholic and he's only come out of treatment last week.
And how is he?
I don't know. I have seen him. I think now what's going to happen, I don't know. Maybe I'm just doubting him, but I think his line is going to get very good because he wasn't out a day and he'd already disappeared.
Right, okay. So you're not holding your breath?
Not holding my breath at the moment, but he likes to spend the time on his own, and that's the problem. They told him that he shouldn't be on his own because obviously when he's on his own...
That's when he starts drinking again and all that. Okay, but when it comes to categorising it as a disease, you don't agree with that?
No, I
You
don't.
believe it's totally self-inflicted, as a lot of people do, and that goes back to Antoinette's message in the first place. And it is for that reason, Antoinette, and I'm sure you realise this, that a lot of people don't have an awful lot of sympathy because they see it as a self-inflicted condition. Anyway, thank you very much indeed for all of your calls, comments, texts and opinions. This is 98FM's Dublin Talks. That's it from us for today. Barry Dunn is on the way, and in the next hour he's got some great music lined up like these.
When I'm with my baby, yeah. You know you are my fantasy. Look what you made me do. Somebody
98FM's
Dublin Talks
with Des Kelly Interiors. For all the latest trends in carpets, vinyls and wood flooring. Des Kelly Interiors, where quality flooring costs less. 98FM.